or get to the free throw line.
Lots of pressure on Tark tonight. 2 of the 3 leading scorers for Coppin State missing tonight. We'll tell you about it in just a few moments as we're off and running from Washington, D.C. and the Burr for MEAC basketball. And to Tark. Joined by Kyle Pardesi.
Yeah, this team likes to get up and down and do that. Shoot threes. They don't shoot at a very high clip, but I think tonight it should be about a little bit of ball control, even though the Bison like to push it as well. I think Coppin might want to consider ball control and better shots, not having some of their stars.
3 lined up and missed by Steve Settle III. And the long miss out to Coppin State, who have lost 4 in a row heading into this game. On the floor to the rack. Justin Steers on the drive. He gets fouled. Juan Dixon, the head coach of Coppin State, trying to get his team back on the winning side of things there, Lance.
Yeah, and in spite of the losing, Derek, and we talked to him, as you know, a few days ago, he's extremely positive and has a lot of energy for his guys, and really he just coaches them in the moment. So don't expect them to lay down or feel sorry for themselves. And he talked about it not having Zarzuela and some of the other guys. It's just been an issue. But we're going to take a break, buddy. But Wani trying to get his guys right here early. 0-0 to start.
Giant wooden block towers that raise the bar on game night. Golf simulators that make tee time anytime. Turntables that turn good times into great times. Portable projectors that transform your space. Get-togethers just got a whole lot more interesting. Home Tech Adventure. Scan the QR code to see the curated collection of unique items for yourself.
Coppin State and Howard set to get back underway. An official stoppage on the floor after the drive by Justin Steers, and he'll go to the line out of the timeout. And certainly, Lance, as these teams get ready for postseason play here for the MEAC tournament, if you're Juan Dixon, you know, you look at kind of how things have played out here so far this year in MEAC play. There's still time, not much, to turn things around.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's really about positioning yourself for the conference tournament, Derek. I mean, these games obviously matter. So it'll be difficult, you know, numerically impossible to compete for championship, but in terms of the league play, but you want to get in the tournament because, as we know, it's a one-game season at that point. And if this team, Coppin State, gets hot, they're as dangerous as anyone in the conference.
They will need to get back to full strength, though. They are missing their leading scorer, Jesse Zarzuela, and they are also missing Tyree Corbett tonight, who did not make the trip. And Corbett is one of, if not the best defensive player in the MEAC.
Yeah, and he also rebounds the heck out of the ball at a high clip, almost averages double figures rebounding the ball. And Zarzuela, as you mentioned, he's not here. His ability to run the offense has really hampered this team thus far in the season, so they desperately need both of those guys.
Steers got stripped. Fast break for the Bison. In the lane, the Settle layup attempt leads to a whistle. And Settle may be on his way to the free throw line.
And that's...
Or check that, Elijah Hawkins, excuse me.
Yeah, that's vintage Howard basketball in terms of using their defense and turning that into offense. They like to play extremely fast. This young man here had a big game earlier this season against Notre Dame. Hawkins did. In fact, he missed the final 3 ball, which would have tied the game up and sent it into overtime.
Head coach Kenny Blakeney, after a big weekend for Howard basketball, we'll outline that for you as our telecast goes on. His third season, he's faced a ton of challenges. They only played 5 games last season, Lance. COVID stoppage. They didn't make it into MEAC play, but he's got his team rolling right now.
Yeah, he does. And, you know, many teams, we've talked to other coaches in the conference and around the country who have had a lot to overcome. None greater, really, than Howard with their challenges last season. But they put things together. They're extremely dangerous right now.
So there's one of the players that could potentially pick up things for Coppin State, Mike Hood, who gets the layup.
Yeah, and they'll need Hood to score again, especially with the injuries that they have tonight going into this game.
Off the miss is Steers' rebound. Coppin State early lead. Stepping into a 3 and knocking it down is the aforementioned Mike Hood.
Well, as we talked about, they can do this. They can knock down shots. It's just going to be about being able to sustain it because they love to shoot threes.
Well, has to settle for a layup there after cutting in towards the rim. Getting a look here at the starting 5 for Coppin State. Steers, Hood, Tark, Cardesi, and Conteh. Will fire from deep and hit. Sita Contech just inserted into the starting lineup recently, drilling a 3.
Well, everyone on this roster has started at some point this season for Coppin State. They're just trusted that much by Dixon.
The high arcing shot by the freshman Elijah Hawkins kisses the backboard and goes in.
He's the machine that makes these guys go. Elijah on both ends of the court. You've got to know where he is at all times because he's very disruptive. There he is with the steal. He does that as well as anyone in the conference.
Into the corner for Ty Bibbs. They swing it. Baseline J. That's a little bit off the mark. Rebound controlled by Coppin State.
Yeah, that was missed by Foster. He's their guy who the Bison look to score the ball, particularly with range. For him, that was a little too close.
Cardesi under duress. Shot clock down to 6. And a steal, Bibbs. Bibbs on the run. Lost the handle on the way up. Now Tark gets stripped. Settle throws it down with a right-handed sledgehammer.
Settle is so long, and he showed you that length there. One of the things that makes him so difficult is he can shoot it with range as well as finish around the basket. That was a great finish there.
10-8 lead for Coppin State. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by LinkedIn. Whatever you're in it for, we're in it together.
Here, we educate tomorrow's leaders today. The Howard Experience allows students to engage in self-exploration through sports, music, dance, and debate. A journey towards excellence in leadership for America and the global community. This is the Howard Experience.
Baby, it's over.
I mean, we both saw this coming.
What a difference a day makes.
I saw them everywhere. They had savor's remorse. And so did I. I made a quick decision on auto, home, and life insurance. But was the coverage okay? Would that company come through when I really needed them? Then I found Amica.
Avoid savor's remorse when you discover Amica. We're owned by our customers, not investors. So we focus on your best interests. That's why Amica was named one of America's best insurance companies by Forbes. This is auto, home, and life insurance you can feel confident about. Call for a quote.
Take a look at this heart. It's the one I'm gonna use to love you.
It's Saturday primetime. Nets Bucks on ABC.
Saturday, Howard and Morgan State participated in the first ever NBA HBCU Classic. It was won by Howard in a close contest, 68-66, as a part of a tremendous All-Star Game weekend. Out of the timeout, the jumper short out of the hands of Bryce Harris.
Yeah, I thought that was wonderful what they did going and playing in Cleveland with that game. I thought for the MEAC and the NBA and Chris Paul and the like have done just a great job of highlighting these HBCU programs and universities around the country.
And Lance, it's a fantastic opportunity for the players, as you alluded to, because you're also doing that in front of NBA players, and getting a chance to kind of show off your game in front of them has to be such a cool moment for these players as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the energy at the All-Star game is like none other, to your point, because you have all these great players who you've been able to watch over the years. Obviously, LeBron Jameses of the world, and Steph Curry's, and Paul. I mean, there are just so many names, and so for those guys to get to rub elbows and spend time with them and highlight what they're doing on the basketball court, I think is just a wonderful thing.
Howard connecting on threes. Here's is it Sam Green launching and firing from deep to make it a 12-11 game, and Lance, so much of the talk coming into this game, Coppin State's three-point shooting. Howard, nobody does it better than them in terms of accuracy in the MEAC.
Well, no, they don't, and no one does it more than these guys, Coppin State. So you're right. One team is incredibly efficient, if you will, in Howard in terms of their percentages and when they take these shots, and the other takes a ton of threes. In fact, almost half of their shots, that being Coppin State's, are three balls, and they shoot them with volume.
Khalil Robinson off the mark and one on the finish by Bryce Harris.
Well, that was it. Great rebound, getting position. He knew that was going up, and you've got to do your work early on the big fella, as he's so strong. Might be the strongest guy on the floor right now, arguably.
6'4", 220. Clearing out some space in the lane.
Yeah, he uses girth, not length. Kind of looks like old Metal World Peace.
Oh, okay, I feel that.
That big, strong body. Yeah, is that a fair body comparison?
I think so.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how Howard performs here in this game as it wears on. Obviously a taxing last few days for them as a part of the All-Star Game weekend in Cleveland as that ball heads out of bounds. And again, a part of such a unique experience, the first ever NBA HBCU Classic, and you get a look there at kind of the opportunity they had. You see Steph Curry and Chris Paul, and it's not often that players get that opportunity. It's something they'll remember for the rest of their lives, Lance.
Yeah, and it's something also, you talk about not getting that opportunity, it's also something to build on for years to come. And I love how the NBA has just reached out, and the HBCUs have wanted to be involved with the NBA in this way, because it's something that you'll pass on to other generations. Obviously, the social media went wild and crazy about the experience in the game and having the cheerleaders and just making it almost a community event, not only locally in Cleveland, but by community, I mean other HBCUs and other communities around the nation getting involved with what the NBA is doing with schools like Howard as well as Morgan State.
Each team getting $100,000 as a part of their participation in the NBA HBCU Classic. And it's such a cool thing to see the NBA, and really many of the players have taken it upon themselves to be involved in promoting HBCU schools.
Yeah, and I mean, Chris Paul has been at the forefront. He had a classic in Phoenix earlier in the year where it wasn't like the NBA All-Star game, but it was similar in that games were played and there was attention put on the HBCUs. So this is an evergreen as far as I'm concerned, Derek, meaning it'll be around and they'll keep building on it. And, you know, a lot of the NBA players come from these same communities as the guys that we're watching play here. So there is a lot of connectivity. It absolutely makes sense. So it should be around really as long as the league is around, which will be until. So I'm excited about it, and it's great for basketball and for all of us who love the sport.
Another three-pointer by Sita Contech. Down low, the layup no good from Randall Brumont, the Columbia transfer. 7-point lead for the Coppin State Eagles. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of the former NBA players that have participated along in terms of HBCUs. And now, head coaches. We'll have the rundown for you in a moment.
This is where the formula ends and the magic begins. We take the mold, shake the mold, and break the mold. From late nights in the gym to later nights in the library, we grind. Because if you think greatness is a game, think again. Here, nothing shines unless we all do.
There's a moment. The moment we ask, what if?
What if we could go further, jump higher, or run the whole thing? What if we could be who we're meant to be?
And become who you look up to. This is the moment it all starts.
This is the moment it all starts.
But only if we get the chance to have it.
We're here to win. The renovation games begin. 4 expert teams face off to renovate 4 identical homes.
We got this.
Who will take home the gold?
Calm down, calm down.
Rock the Block premieres February 28th at 9 on HGTV.
Selling on Poshmark is crazy simple. All you have to do is post a picture, add a description, add a price, and you're pretty much good to go. Right now I'm selling Air Jordans and Nikes and Adidas, anything really performance related or style related.
Download the free Poshmark app now.
Numerous former NBA players landing at HBCUs as head coaches. Kenny Anderson with Fisk, Lindsey Hunter as well with Mississippi Valley State, George Lynch, 12 seasons in the NBA, now with Clark Atlanta. How about Reggie Theus, the 2-time NBA All-Star with Bethune-Cookman, who we'll see coming up next on ESPNU. Bonzi Wells, 10 seasons, now with Lemoyne Owens. How about Mo Williams, former NBA champion, now on his way with Alabama State, who will take on the aforementioned Bethune-Cookman, and of course, Lance, Juan Dixon, an NBA veteran and now the head coach of Coppin State.
Yeah, I love that list of guys. And these aren't guys that just kind of made a drive-by in the NBA. Derek, these are guys who, I mean, Lindsey Hunter, who I worked with and in Phoenix, he's a former champion with the Lakers. You look at Mo Williams, I have some connectivity with Mo as well from my time in Cleveland, but a 13-year veteran. The list goes on. Reggie Theus, Bonzi Wells, Anderson, these guys really made an impact on the league, the communities they came from. And so it's just a gift that they are at these HBCUs coaching, imparting their knowledge. And they are as good a coaches as any. And I'm just extremely proud, not only of their work on the court in the NBA, but that they would go back to these HBCUs and impart their knowledge there.
Greg Spurlock able to hit a three to extend the lead out to 8. Settle. Can't finish. Brumont working. Can't score. Conteh out of the mix for the ball.
Yeah, and Coppin State is a very dangerous ball club because they shoot so many threes and they have such freedom on this end of the floor. And right now they're having to be a little bit collaborative because they don't have Zarzuela, who typically makes a lot of their plays and runs things for them offensively. So you have a mismatch of different guys who are, one, getting shots, but two, having to make plays as they go to a little bit of a zone on the defensive end of the floor.
Settle's three is short, but Hawkins able to slide in and get the rebound.
Yeah, the most dangerous player on the floor for Howard is Hawkins. He is everywhere, and I mean everywhere on both ends. You've really got to watch him, especially if you're playing a zone, because typically you don't have people you're boxing out. It's spaces, and you see there the turnover committed by Howard.
Coming up tonight over on ESPN and the app at 9 Eastern, it's a Big 12 battle between number 10 Baylor and Oklahoma State in Stillwater. We'll see if the defending national champions can get healthy and get right as March Madness looms. Right down the floor, Settle running the floor and getting the layup.
You know, I talked about Elijah being all over the floor, but I think Settle is equally as important because he can score at multiple levels, uses that length so well. He made some circus shots earlier against Notre Dame. He was exceptional in that game.
Hawkins flipped it up. Brumont grabs it outside. Settle tees up a three and misses it off the front of the rim. Loose and now controlled by Coppin State as Hawkins battling against Daniel Titus. That leads to a whistle.
Yeah, and Hawkins is just so pesky. He bugs people. He's just a constant irritant on defense. You've got to know where he is. Probably not the best place to foul someone, you know, 92 feet, 90 feet from the basket. But he's certainly a guy who creates action on both ends of the floor, Derek.
Absolutely. On the offensive side, it's been an interesting start for Howard. They're just 1 of 8 from 3, and they're 5 of 8 inside the three-point line from 2. That's notable because they're the #1 team in the MEAC in three-point percentage, 36% on the year. Pressure broken, and a dunk by Justin Steers, who hammers it home and one.
Well, how about Steers so far? He's playing quite well. That's the way you deal with pressure. You see the trap there. If you can move it, you're going to find a mismatch and someone open. They have absolutely no rim protection. Kyle throws that down to the baseline, and they did exactly, Steers did what you're supposed to do there, attack the basket.
Steers out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, trying to extend this lead. This is an interesting matchup because it's a rematch of a game back on January 24th in which this Coppin State team rallied back from a 26-point deficit to beat Howard. It's the largest comeback in MEAC history. It's the 7th biggest comeback in the history of the NCAA.
Yeah, and they're never really out of games. They played Virginia here earlier this season, and at one point they struggled a little bit at times in that game. And I talked to Coach Dixon about it, and he said, "Yeah, late. You know, we were down 9, and we were right there. It was a 3-possession game, and so for them to be down 10, 12, 14, even 20 points, it's not a lot, Derek, because they shoot so many threes and they continue to put pressure on you on the offensive end, which is kind of atypical to most teams. Put pressure on you literally with their defense and they pressure you. They almost pressure you because they keep coming at you shooting three ball. To put this in context, 1,467 shots this year have been shot by Coppin State. 722 of them are threes. That's almost unheard of.
That's a lot of threes. Turnover.
You think?
Turnover the other way. Spinning in the lane is Bibbs, and Bibbs is able to draw the foul.
Yeah, Bibbs was a little bit of a reluctant driver there. No one stopped the ball. I thought he should have been a little bit more aggressive. He kind of got caught and got in the spin cycle in the middle of the floor. I thought if he had made his mind up and been a look, no one's stopping the ball really right there. Go attack the rim. He spins, not realizing he had a straight line drive at that point. But he does end up with the foul.
By the way, 7 turnovers now committed by Coppin State so far in this first half, despite being up by 8. Bibbs, along with Randall Brumont, those two former teammates at Columbia, an assistant at Columbia during their time, their current head coach, Kenny Blakeney.
Yeah, and Columbia, obviously in the Ivy League, went through the COVID challenges with their season, basically not having games and such, and so makes a transfer. And Brumont's been a big addition, and I say big, he's another big, strong body, plays up front for Howard.
Tark cuts in. Can't finish at the rack, and the rebound controlled by Sam Green. Bibbs. Now back outside, a Green 3. That's no good, just trickles out. Cardesi grabbing the loose ball. Transition 3 is good from Greg Spurlock.
Well, Spurlock did exactly what Coppin State does. They don't take a lot of time. Right now, obviously the score favors Coppin State, but I think the pace of play and style of play is favoring Coppin State, Derek. They've got control of the game because they're forcing Howard to play at a faster pace and also turning this into a shooting contest. And here it is. Stop, Spurlock, and drop it right in. Splash! Coppin State up 9.
Take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the I hear him chatting with the boys. Can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but nice keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the boys. White girls, let her tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Just too sharp with the boys. Let her tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Let her tell me I'm tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on a pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution.
Tyson boneless buffalo bites have that tasty kick of flavor, so they're perfect for any get-together. If there are any left when your guests arrive. Tyson Anytizers Chicken. More kicks of flavor, more smiling snackers, more to love. Tyson.
You got weeds in your nose and whiskers on your lobes. You need the Weed Whacker by Manscaped. It's got a powerful 9,000 RPM motor with skin-safe technology to help reduce nicks and tubs. Clean, baby. Get yours at manscaped.com.
With Circle, you can add some magic to the way you drink water. Circle's adjustable flavor cartridges keep you in control of the way your water tastes. Plus, each sip is so full of flavor. There's no room for sugar or calories, so you can be on top of your hydration. With over 40 flavor options, it's easy for your water to be as unique as you are. Try Circle at drinkcircle.com.
Okay. All right, let's see if it works. Oh, he's doing it.
Go for it. There's nothing holding you back with the Bissell Little Green Pet Pro, our most powerful portable spot cleaner. It combines superior suction with handy housewide versatility. So you can go all out, always.
Go get it!
Bissell, live in the moment, not the mess.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's new Hot Honey Chicken Sandwich. Also available on a biscuit at breakfast at participating U.S. Wendy's. Washington, D.C., the site Howard, Coppin State. It is a Coppin State lead of 9 with 7:44 left to go before halftime. Derek Jones and Lance Blanks with you this evening. Coppin State providing a handful once again for Howard, who have won 6 in a row heading into this game. Tart leaning in. Misses the rim, and that'll go the other way for Howard.
Yeah, Derek, and Tark is struggling right now to get to the line. That is a key element of his game, as I mentioned in the open, as he shakes his head. I mean, he's had 23 attempts from the free throw line in the last 2 games. So one of the bright spots for Howard is they are not fouling him and putting him on the line.
Hood with a scoop shot, wild, and off the mark. Settle on the move. Oh, Settle called for a carry. Lance, you don't see that called a ton. Normally at the official's discretion.
No, I thought it was the right call. And as I mentioned earlier with Settle, he can go both ways. There you see, yeah, absolutely. Didn't have the best angle, but he did hold the ball. He turned it over, basically. So it was the right call. And you're right, not a call that's often made, but the right call.
Steers hopping in, tried to go glass, missed it, got it back, gets rejected.
A great offensive rebound. That's emblematic of the game. I mean, there's no way Steers is supposed to get that rebound. Just much quicker to the ball and a lot more bounce, like his teammates for Coppin State.
The Bibbs 3 misses. A rebound for Steers. One player we have not talked a lot about in this game, and that's not necessarily a good thing for Howard. That's Kyle Foster, #1 in the country in three-point shooting accuracy. And he has been off the mark so far, Lance. But a steal here by Steve Settle. On the move, and another dunk.
Well, the entire team has been off the mark. Only 1 for 10 from beyond the arc. That's a huge bonus right there, getting that dunk, just seeing the basketball go through the hole. And again, really their defense, Howard has been the MVP for their offense so far tonight. It's because they've managed to turn some of these stops into easy baskets, as we saw there.
Steers can't put in the soft jumper. The rebound corralled by the Bison, down by 7 with 5:36 left to go. First half.
Well, they're staying in this zone. It's causing major problems for Howard, especially when they've got to try to run offense out of it.
Conteh off the steal. Conteh trying to back down. Robinson, turnaround, Jay, clean.
How about that? The shot looked beautiful. The break, the one-man break wasn't the prettiest. But Conteh's been huge this first half for Coppin State.
14 points. And we talked about players needing to step up with no Corbett and no Zarzuela for Coppin State, and he has filled that void.
Yes, he has.
Foster 3, way off. Conteh with a loose ball again.
Yeah, not having Foster, who is such a key element to Howard and what they do, is the other part of this story for Coppin State. I mean, this is as good a basketball as they've played in the last 3 or 4 games.
No doubt about it. 9-point lead for Coppin State with 4:40 left to go before halftime. The Eagles will try to continue this on towards the end of the first half. What a Big 10, Big 12 Super Tuesday doubleheader we have for you on ESPN and the app. At 7 Eastern, Michigan State is at Carver Hawkeye Arena to take on number 25 Iowa. Then it's an in-state rivalry game between number 5 Kansas and Kansas State at Allen Fieldhouse. Well, the big news dominating college basketball over the last 24 hours, the ending of another Big Ten game, Michigan and Wisconsin. It was revealed shortly before we went on the air. Michigan head coach Juwan Howard suspended for the remainder of the regular season, which is 5 games. Lance, your thoughts on what we saw yesterday between Michigan and Wisconsin?
Well, it's just a heated situation. I certainly don't want to minimize it because it's not the kind of example you want to show. You know, two major Power 5 programs, and you have two coaches who have an exchange, and an unfortunate incident occurs with a swing. And I think, you know, we talked about this before the show, before the game, and you know, I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but one thing that I think needs to be reviewed is the actual handshakes after the game. It's obvious for both coaches in that situation. One wanted to talk and have a conversation. The other one wanted to get where he was going and didn't want to have a conversation, and it escalated to a place that none of us wanted to see. But I think at that moment, Derek, when you are just finishing a game, win, lose, or draw, it is so emotional. I've been in those situations, and you can say or do anything at that moment. I'd love both teams to maybe shake hands before the game versus doing it at that moment. But I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break, man. We got a good one here. Coppin State is getting it done, evoking a little bit of pain on Howard, but the defense, how about Settle as he finishes? Coppin State leads 31-24.
Imagine a place where learning pushes you further and strengthens you from mind to toe. The promise of tomorrow begins with your commitment today. Connect with people who open minds and open doors, taking you from here to there. We take pride in our legacy that prepares you for the rest of your life. Coppin State University.
With relapsing forms of MS, there's a lot to deal with. Not just unpredictable relapses, all these other things too. It can all add up. Kesimpta is a once-monthly at-home injection that may help you put these RMS challenges in their place. Kesimpta was proven superior at reducing the rate of relapses, active lesions, and slowing disability progression versus Aubagio. Don't take Kesimpta if you have hepatitis B, and tell your doctor if you have had it, as it could come back. Kesimpta can cause serious side effects, including infections. While no cases of PML were reported in RMS clinical trials, it could happen. Tell your doctor if you had or plan to have vaccines, or if you are or plan to become pregnant. Kesimpta may cause a decrease in some types of antibodies. The most common side effects are upper respiratory tract infection, headache, and injection reactions. Ready for an at-home treatment with dramatic results? It's time to ask your doctor about Kesimpta.
This may sound mad, but a Duke Virginia game is half basketball, half chess, and a 100% grind-out battle to the buzzer. Experience number 7 Duke Virginia, Wednesday at 7 on ESPN.
Our ESPN Wednesday college basketball doubleheader begins with a sonic blockbuster between Paolo Banchero and number 7 Duke and Virginia at 7 Eastern. Then Oscar Tshiebwe continues to lead the nation in rebounding while averaging 15 a game while adding 16 points per game. He leads number 6 Kentucky against LSU at Rupp Arena. You can always watch both on the ESPN app. Great doubleheader of basketball headed your way as a part of the Wednesday night action on ESPN. Kyle Foster at the line sinks the first. Just to finish up the point about the Michigan-Wisconsin game, certainly, Lance, it's so interesting when you consider talking about eliminating the handshake line. One of the things that was taking place last year because of COVID, really, you know, the last year or so, was the handshake line. People were careful with it because of social distancing. And, I mean, I don't know. I kind of am with you a little bit. Maybe we need to get rid of it.
Yeah, I don't think – I think it's tradition, perhaps, and not necessarily rule, but I just don't think it should be obligatory, particularly right after a game. It should be something if – I think – you know, not to be biased with NBA, they do a great job with that, particularly now. You see teams and players after game, some of them come to the middle of the court. The coaches may talk. shake hands, glad hand with a player or two, and move on to your locker room. And some may go to the locker room. It's not a big deal has been made out of it. But I think we talked about it. I did a HBCU game last year, or within the last year and a half, and something similar happened. A fight broke out between two players, and I'm not accepting it. It's not something that should be tolerated. But at the same time, I know emotions run really high right after a basketball game.
Sita Conteh, 3 more for him. The lead is at 11. 9 of 13 from 3. An answer there by Kyle Foster from the corner.
Well, Foster's the guy that they need to get going. Howard and Coppin State now, especially having this 8-point lead, they need to manage the clock, not stop playing, but also make sure that they can maintain momentum.
Loose off the miss. Conteh will fire again. This one flips off the rim. Tark battling. Conteh has his hands on it. He's all over the place. Can't bank it in. Foster with the rebound.
Yeah, Conteh got the rebound. He didn't have to shoot that, though. It's a perfect time to kick that out. But how about that? And then Foster literally almost gives it right back to him with the deep 3. He's taking these shots. Foster's trying to get himself into the game. And I think his team is having to pay a little bit of a price for that here late in the first half.
Foul on the floor here against Howard. It'll be charged to Sam Green. Number 5 of the half on Howard. One thing to note kind of where this performance of Conteh is coming from. He only scored 2 points on Saturday in that blowout loss that Coppin State suffered against MEAC leading Norfolk State.
Well, and keep in mind that Coach Dixon has such a green light on these guys and equal opportunity, and he's so positive that this can happen really on any given night on this roster. You can have a guy who just really gets blistering hot and scorches you as you see here tonight.
Into Titus. Shot clock down to 5 for Hood. Hood gets a step, layup attempt, and we'll get a player control foul called against Hood on the drive.
Yeah, it's such an important factor for guys. Young guys have trouble stopping and really just going to a space and getting a shot up. Often they want to get all the way to the basket. Here, Hood, nice hesitate. Stop right there. There's no need to try to get all the way to the basket. The defense does a good job of loading up and taking the charge.
Hawkins whips a pass around the arc. Now it's stolen. Tark. He lost the handle.
Well, he is really out of sorts today, and Conteh and these guys are picking up a lot of the slack because they typically need Tark, especially with Zarzuela being out.
Settle, looking down low to Brumont, and Brumont will go to the line.
I like it. I like it. If I'm Howard, that's where I'm going with the ball, especially with their struggles from beyond the arc. But Derek, we talked about Coppin State and different guys stepping up. This is reminiscent of the South Carolina State game where Kyle Cardacci, he went for 22 and had a career game in that particular game and was 4 for 10 from beyond the arc, 7 for 16 from the floor. But because of the way they play, as I mentioned a moment ago, you'll have different guys, which makes it a nightmare if you're trying to game plan for a certain player with a team like Coppin State. So it almost works to their benefit in some ways, not having their stars here, Corbett and Zarzuela, because they're harder to game plan for.
That's a very good point, because now the focus of it has to go to different places, and you're looking at players and roles that they really haven't been in too much this season because of the injury situation now with Coppin State.
Yeah, unfamiliar situations, or situations you haven't seen. Unicorn situations, shall we say.
Off the Tark miss, Bibbs with a basketball. Just a 1 second difference between the game clock and the shot clock, with Coppin State up by 6.
Yeah, this zone has created major issues for Howard.
Settle. Down to 2. Lets it go. Can't connect. And that will close out the first half. 37-31 lead for Coppin State. Strong first half for the Eagles, Lance. Seriously filled the void.
Yeah, he has. And when you have a roster like this with the freedom to shoot threes, this kind of thing can happen. But they've got to stay, meaning Howard's got to stay connected to Conteh tonight, particularly on the perimeter, because he's shooting the ball so well.
Brumont working down low as that ball knocked away from him. It'll stay with Howard.
Yeah, and Brumont was trying to get a basket there. Clearly that was a call to get the ball inside. You can see by what's going on what was talked about at halftime. Quit settling for threes. Get the ball inside.
Saw Kyle Foster on that list of leading scorers in the MEAC as loose, and Hawkins could not get that shot off. I was about to say Foster has been very quiet offensively in this game, and that really is underscored by the three-point shooting and lack thereof for Howard.
Yeah, and Foster didn't get going early, so Derek, he ended up chasing shots as the half wore on in the first half. I thought he started taking some bad shots just because he wasn't involved and engaged in the offense. Whoa, that looks like a bit of a break because Steers just fell down.
And you think that should be a let him play?
That's 100%. I have the benefit of sitting here like you and rewatching what occurred, but I didn't see a foul there.
Brumont thought he blocked Conteh. Instead, it'll be a foul against the Houston, Texas native.
Well, you can't forget human beings are making these decisions and these calls. So the refs, though they've done a good job to this point, not every call is going to be perfect. So literally the issues mount a little bit for Howard here. So if they're going to get the 7 games in a row, they're going to have to overcome some things, human error or otherwise, if they want to come out of here with a victory tonight, Derek.
First trip to the line for Conteh as he knocks in the first free throw. That's the first foul against Brumont. 2 from Conteh makes it an 8-point lead for Coppin State at 39-31. Just underway, second half action. Derek Jones and Lance Blanks with you tonight. Loose ball, nearly tracked down by Hood. And it will be Coppin State basketball.
Yeah, basically, right now, Coppin State is doing to Howard what Howard does to most people. They're pressuring them all over the floor. They're playing the passing lanes. They're executing on the offensive end. They are the aggressor coming here early in the second half.
Cardace will pop a 3. Can't knock it down. Tip back outside. Saved by Steers.
That's a perfect example of that. That essentially was a 50-50 ball. Long shot's going to be a long rebound. And who comes up with it? Coppin State pokes it out and gets another try at it. Isolation.
Steers inside.
How about Steers? He's creating offense, a little crab walk action all the way to the basket.
Hawkins answers with a 3 of his own. That'll cut it to a 7-point game. So Hawkins cuts into the deficit.
Well, any comeback, Derek, will involve Hawkins simply not only because he's a point guard, but they rely on his energy and execution.
The drive and the finish. Nicely done by Mike Hood. Hawkins flying down the floor quickly. Settle. Off with a three. To the rim again. Tark this time. And a foul.
Well, that's what Tark does. He gets fouled and goes to the line. But you saw there, Tark dribbled all the way from the backcourt. This was the last possession. You see the hit by Hood and the finish over Brumont. I mean, one of the challenges here, Derek, is obviously Conteh's threes, but you've also got multiple guys in places that they're getting scoring from Coppin State. So you can't just think that you're going to stop Conteh and come out of here with a win. You've got too many guys that can get it done, and namely this young man Tark, who's at the line right now. He's arguably the best on the team at getting to the basket and getting fouled and shooting free throws.
Great two-way player, does it offensively, averaging over 13 points per game. Also defensively as well. Second in the country in total steals and steals per game.
Yep.
Hawkins.
Look at the
outside the Bibbs.
The good defensive spacing. They're not overplaying defense. They're forcing them to go over the top.
Down to 5. Hawkins gets bumped, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Yeah, Conteh did a good job. Just the offense was a little better. That was a little bit of a cat and mouse game, Derek. You saw there, Conteh spaced well, but the little fella got into him. Look at the jump. You saw him lean right into the right, making sure contact was made. The little guys can be sneaky at times, especially around the basket. He made sure, Elijah did, Hawkins, that he got fouled there because he was in a peculiar spot being around the basket with all of those trees.
Saw there just how impactful Hawkins has been, not just for this team, but throughout the league. 7-time MEAC Rookie of the Week winner. And we mentioned the steal capability of Tark. Here's another guy that's in the national top 10, and Hawkins as a freshman, averaging 2.5 steals per game. Ten-point lead for Coppin State. Hood. Dealing with Foster. A crossover, and let's see, that'll be a turnover, it appears, against Coppin State.
Yeah, and I didn't see I don't know if it was a carry or what the exact call that was made.
Nonetheless, turnover number 13. Drive, and it'll be a player control foul called against Devin Richmond.
Yeah, and that was Kyle Cardacci who took that charge. We talked about him 2 games ago, Derek, and how he had the big game against South Carolina State, scoring the basketball, but he also plays defense. And Coach Dixon has talked about it and how much he enjoys him being on the floor and confident he is with him on the floor, particularly at the defensive end. And there are so many ways that you can impact the game beyond just scoring. And that young man right there just showed you a great example of how you can do that.
That 3 by Conteh, well short.
And that's where Coppin State's going to have to be careful not to just get caught up shooting too many threes.
Bibbs cuts into the deficit with a triple. The lead down to 7. So Bibbs trying to get his teammates going, popping a 3. Tark, oh my! Nanda Tark all the way to the rack.
Well, that is how you treat pressure. You attack pressure with pressure. That's exactly what Tark did on the back end of that press.
Foster provides an answer. Still a lead of 7.
Well, Howard is now pressing, creating momentum, but Coppin State is meeting the challenge and not succumbing to that pressure.
Lance, how about Coppin State saying, well, we shoot threes, but we can go to the rack too. That's a guy who can shoot threes as well, Kyle Foster from deep.
Uh-oh, be careful. If you're Coppin State, you don't want to wake the sleeping giant that Foster is from that distance. Shoots almost 50% from the he's as good a shooter as any.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's new hot honey chicken sandwich. Also available on a biscuit at breakfast at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Energy is everywhere, even in a little seedling, which, when turned into fuel, can help power a plane. At Chevron's El Segundo refinery, we're looking to turn plant-based oil into renewable gasoline, jet, and diesel fuels. Our planet offers countless sources of energy, but it's only human to find the ones that could power a better future.
With DirecTV Stream, I can get live TV and on demand anywhere. Look, Serena Williams, Matrix. Serena, Matrix. Serena, Matrix.
Get your TV together with the best of live and on demand. Introducing DirecTV Stream.
Need to hit the road if we're going to beat the traffic.
All right. What? Maybe we'll just beat the traffic tomorrow?
Best portable gym I've ever owned. And the #1 crowd-funded fitness product in history. A total body workout. Anywhere, anytime. Limited time sale, free shipping, free returns, 30-day guarantee.
If some of the superstars that have come out of American Idol have never been discovered, the world would have missed out on happiness.
The show continues to create superstars.
I'm fired up about this one.
Are you ready for your life to begin?
You're going to Hollywood!
American Idol returns Sunday on ABC.
To 43, the lead for Coppin State as the MEAC comes to Big Monday here this evening from Washington, D.C. Derek Jones and Lance Blanks with you this evening, and the big news, Lance, out of college basketball from the last 24 hours, the incident taking place towards the end of the Michigan-Wisconsin game. It was revealed shortly before our telecast started, Juwan Howard suspended for 5 games, also fined $40,000. Give me your take on how that played out.
Well, let me talk about Juwan first. I've observed him for so many years being around the NBA. We aren't friends necessarily, but I feel like I'm part of the same community as him, just as spending the time in the NBA. And this is a high character guy. Let's remember, he came from the Miami Heat, the organization that Pat Riley leads. He's been a coach for many years. He was a great NBA player who mentored many players. So, believe it or not, there's a level of empathy that I have for Juwan because so much attention and focus has been put on him because of his response after a game in a heated moment when he was prevent it from walking, through the line where you shake hands to have a conversation at arguably one of the worst times during or after a basketball game. Should he have swung? Who am I to judge? Certainly you don't want to see that. I'm sure everyone is upset on both sides, but I hope that this can be a moment that we all learn from, Derek, and I also hope there's a decision is made about maybe we should go to a model that's similar to the NBA, where a decision can be made to not go through that line and shake hands. Or you can go to your locker room, or you can just go on the court and talk to someone if you want, because some people can be more or less emotional than others right after a game.
Well, you go back and you remember over the years, you've heard the expression perhaps the 10-minute cooling off period.
Yep.
Maybe we need to go back to something like that.
I'm glad that's a great call. I mean, I remember playing for the Pistons in the NBA. At the time, they were, quote unquote, the bad boys and one of the better teams. And I remember that some of the players literally after the game would either go sit near the steam or go put their feet in an ice bucket or go sit in the locker room for 10, 15, even up to 20 minutes before they went into the locker room and began to have interviews and talk about the game and the moments, especially that team, because there were many heated moments. And so I think in Europe you've seen sometimes in friendly games or games where you're playing internationally, there will be handshakes and gifts exchanged before the game. I think if you want to make it obligatory or mandatory, do that before the game, because after the game you don't know how you're going to feel, and there are physiological things that only doctors and sometimes doctors can't even explain, that you may or may not even remember right after the buzzer goes off. And I'm speaking to both sides in this situation. So I just think it's a lot of pressure to put on coaches, players, etc., to force them to shake hands right after a game.
I agree with you, and especially as you get into this season we're heading into, where you make a mistake and your season's over. I mean, that's a big ask in some cases.
Yeah, it's a huge ask in a moment. I mean, it is sport, and we know with sports there can be some wild moments. And, I don't want to harp on my experience with the Bad Boys, but it's been highly publicized about the walk-off. I was there for that and spent time, knew Michael Jordan, obviously, as a young person, and he got so upset at me for not shaking hands after that game. And I was simply following my teammates off the court and, didn't have the blinders off, if you will, to notice everything, to stop and shake hands with Michael and or other guys I might have known from the other team. And it's a difficult situation. No one's excited about it, obviously, with what happened with Juwan. And I hope, though, that this is a moment, again, where we can all learn and grow from and make the game better.
By the way, Wisconsin's Greg Gard was reportedly fined $10,000 as a part of that situation as well. Inbounded as Coppin State up by 11, 57-46. The three-point shooting heating up here on both sides. Foster from deep, and he misses the mark. And a rebound taken here by Coppin State. Loose, and Hawkins, that's his specialty, stealing the basketball.
Yeah, and I mentioned it a moment ago that any comeback will involve Hawkins on either end of the floor. He does such a good job of playing passing lanes, but he can obviously also score the ball. A little fortunate there not to get a flop warning as he fell there on the three ball.
Corner three is good. So Reggie James, we have not called his name tonight. He gets into the flow knocking down a three-pointer. Foster.
Well, and James is an example of what I mean. This team is hard to game plan for because they have so many guys literally just coming out of the woodwork.
Foster with a three-pointer to cut it to an 11-point game with 12 minutes left to go. And Lance, this game is very disjointed right now, but Coppin State, I think, is enjoying that.
Yeah, it is disjointed, and I think Coppin State is part of the reason they've created that by sustaining what they did in the first half. We talked about could they sustain it. They're showing us they can, but they got a late shot clock and better get it up quickly.
James with a drive. Can't finish. Brumont board. Hawkins cuts in. Gets to the rim and one. Elijah Hawkins takes it to the rim, and he can make this an 8-point game.
Well, how about this? Earmark this basket. Of course, there's a sighting. Foster starting to get in the act, but then the little fella, Elijah Hawkins, a freshman there, gets hit, finishes, gets the crowd involved. They've got it under 10. Howard streaking.
Your time or someone else's?
Here, we educate tomorrow's leaders today. The Howard Experience allows students to engage in self-exploration through sports, music, dance, and debate. A journey towards excellence in leadership for America and the global community. This is the Howard Experience.
When you're waiting for a kiss, 1 second can feel like forever. Freshen up and make a move. No more waiting, just kissing.
We're here to win. The renovation games begin. 4 expert teams face off to renovate 4 identical homes. We got this. Who will take home the gold?
Calm down, calm down.
Rock the Block premieres February 28th at 9 on HGTV.
Baby, it's over.
I mean, we both saw this coming.
Showing appreciation with a perfect promotional item is a meaningful gesture that can be touched, held, and enjoyed. 4imprint can help your logo create moments that matter. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. 4imprint, for certain.
Selling on Poshmark is crazy simple. All you have to do is post a picture, add a description, add a price, and you're pretty much good to go. Right now I'm selling Air Jordans and Nikes and Adidas, anything really performance related or style related.
Download the free Poshmark app now.
It's time! Presenting the Lawnmower 4.0! Featuring skin-safe technology, and it's waterproof! Go to manscaped.com today.
60-51 lead for Coppin State over Howard. Derek Jones and Lance Blanks with you this evening. 11:22 left to go. And Lance, you know, the managers on basketball teams never get enough credit on the college side. How about those for Howard?
Yeah, I mean, they've been great. I know a lot of them really tried to get involved with the team. They have some programs where Coach Blakeney, really reaches out. And I, in fact, had to do some of my research through some of these managers. Aaron Lord was amazing in helping me prepare for this game. And I just loved it. Howard is very reputable, as many of these MEAC universities and HBCUs are around the country. But Howard just has a special place in my heart, just from it being in D.C. and the history. And he was just amazing to talk to and learn about the players and the program and the rich history there. So you're right. I mean, it truly, as they say, takes a village with these programs and schools. And I know you appreciate it, Derek. I don't want to speak for you, but I certainly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart with the work that they do and the effort that the managers put in with these programs.
Oh, no doubt about it. College basketball is a major production on the floor. To get everything that you see right now, there's a lot of help involved. Down to 1 to shoot. And the shot clock expires. A 30-second shot clock violation. Looked like Coppin State wasn't aware of the situation there, Lance.
Yeah, sleeping at the wheel, inclusive and out of a timeout. And that's where guys like Zarzuela show up as impacting this roster, because he is a point guard. He runs the offense. He's on the floor, and that doesn't happen.
Off the miss. A possession for Coppin State, leading by 8. They have really had control of this game now a majority of the way. Tart, no-look feed. 3-ball up. That's no good. Out of the hands of Spurlock. Hawkins.
Yeah, I think we've obviously talked about the offensive end of the floor, but the defense, to me, I think Coppin State has just done a nice job. And you see an example there where they're bottling them up and not giving looks at the rim.
Settle. Offensive rebound. Gets it back. Can't put it in. Can't put it in again. But a foul that will send him to the line.
Yeah, and when they have gotten to the rim, positive things have happened for Howard. I think Coppin State is going to have to withstand another momentum push or two before the end. I mean, if you go back to earlier in the season when this team played against Notre Dame, you know, a top program, a Power 5 program, they took them all the way to the end there, and in fact they were down a ton. They were down as much as 10 points, and they never went away. So Howard's going to push all the way to the finish line.
Coming up tonight over on ESPN and the app at 9 Eastern, it's a Big 12 battle between number 10 Baylor and Oklahoma State in Stillwater. That one coming up in 30 minutes. It'll be a fantastic battle between the Bears and the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. Boy, Settle can't convert there. The lead remains at 8. Titus. And a foul. That'll be against Settle. Coppin State, this 8-point lead in part due to three-point shooting. 12 of 21 from 3 so far tonight are the Eagles, which is notable because while they shoot them a lot, they're not great at hitting them. They're eighth. They're 8th in the conference, last in shooting three-pointers.
Yeah, and first in the number that they take, which it's just difficult to fathom. But yeah, if you're game planning for them, you're like, okay, 29%, I'm not really worried. But because they shoot so many and with such volume, they can get hot at any moment, and we're seeing that tonight.
The Settle 3 misses, and that's. Yeah, and I was just about to say that's right near the bottom of Division I college basketball in terms of the number percentage-wise for Coppin State.
Yeah, and you know, you mentioned Settle shooting the last 3. I think that's going to be an issue, and no pun here, but if Howard continues to settle for 3s, I think advantage goes to Coppin State. I mean, they're doing a good job of not pressuring. There you see. And they're almost baiting them, and they're playing what I call dare defense right now. Coppin State is. They're daring them to continue to shoot 3s.
That's the foul on James. That's number 4 on him, and he'll head to the bench. I tell you, this Coppin State team, yes, they have struggled overall this season. They've had an unbelievably crazy schedule. 16 of the first 18 games were on the road. They've just been up against it all season long. But because of the volume of 3s, if you get in a game with them where they hit them, kind of what you're seeing tonight, it can be tough for the opposition.
Absolutely. And point well made.
Shot clock under 10. Hawkins. The feed to Foster. He'll fire. He got hit behind the line, and that will be 3 free throws for Kyle Foster.
Boy, that's just that's a mental mistake, because you like the effort. You love contesting a 3-point shot. But it's borderline a sin, especially by a player as good as Tark, to foul this 3-point shooter and put him on the line. And see, this can change his whole game, that being Foster, because he has an opportunity here, Derek, to watch the ball go through the basket 3 times in a row. We'll take that back. 2 times. I jinxed him. He had a chance to watch it go through the basket 3 times in a row. But it's such an important message for shooters to see the ball go in the basket. It gives you a sense of confidence, a sense of calm. It puts you back in the mode that I can do this. And so that opportunity has been given to Foster with these free throws.
It's almost as if, as you got to look at Howard's 3-point shooting tonight, these teams have switched identities. It's Howard who has been the efficient 3-point shooting team in the MEAC, #1, 37% on the season, and Coppin State last in that department as we outlined. But tonight, Howard 7 of 27 from 3. The good news for Howard, though, Lance, is Kyle Foster now is up to 18 points. He had just 5 at halftime.
Yeah, he made a 3, obviously, in this half already, and has got it going. Got fouled there, but only 7 threes out of 27. But how about this? And still, you're within striking distance. It's only a 2-possession game at this point, Derek.
Now, Sita Conteh can try to add to that from the free throw line. Trying to build on a career night off the front end of a 1-and-1 following the 3rd foul against Randall Brumont. Nice pass inside to Brumont. Layup no good. Loose, and we're going to lose ball foul, and this will be against Howard. 60-54 ball game. Coppin State trying to hold off the Bison. More from Washington in a moment.
This is where the formula ends and the magic begins. We take the mold, shake the mold, and break the mold. From late nights in the gym to later nights in the library. We grind. Because if you think greatness is a game, think again. Here, nothing shines unless we all do.
I have moderate to severe ulcerative colitis, so I'm taking Zeposia, a once-daily pill, because I won't let UC stop me from being me.
Zeposia can help people with UC achieve and maintain remission, and it's the first and only S1P receptor modulator approved for UC. Don't take Zeposia if you've had a heart attack, chest pain, stroke or mini-stroke, heart failure in the last 6 months, irregular or abnormal heartbeat not corrected by a pacemaker, if you have untreated severe breathing problems during your sleep, or if you take medicines called MAOIs. Zeposia may cause serious side effects, including infections that can be life-threatening and cause death, slow heart rate, liver or breathing problems, increased blood pressure, macular edema, and swelling and narrowing of the brain's blood vessels. Though unlikely, a risk of PML, a rare, serious, potentially fatal brain infection, cannot be ruled out. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions, medications, or if you are or plan to become pregnant. If you can become pregnant, use birth control during treatment and for 3 months after you stop taking Zeposia. Don't let UC stop you from doing you. Ask your doctor about once daily Zeposia.
Oh, man, that's a whole lot of wrinkly. At least my shoes look good.
Help prevent wrinkles with Bounce Wrinkle Guard, the mega sheet with 3 times the wrinkle-fighting ingredients.
Been getting a lot of calls like this lately.
The Zebra compares the top insurance companies, so you could save over $900 on car and home insurance.
That's a lot of cash.
Compare and save today at thezebra.com.
Coppin State missing 2 of their top 3 leading scorers heading into this game tonight, but they find themselves up by 6. Derek Jones and Lance Blanks with you tonight. 60-54, your score. Sita Conteh with 21 points, a career night for him to pace Coppin State, one of 3 double-figure scorers. But Lance, they've gotten those extra performances they've been looking for. They've been there tonight.
Oh, yeah, they've got a number of guys. And even if you aren't having the kind of night that Conteh is having, just having a big night, or making a big shot, or making a big play. I mean, this is a collaborative effort for the entirety of this Coppin State ball club. But, Derek, there's a lot of ball to be played. And we've got 7.5 minutes left against a very good Howard team that typically finishes strong.
And Hawkins finishing strong to the rim. Morgan State found that out on Saturday when they had a double-digit lead against Howard and couldn't hold on to it as we get a kick ball there. By the way, the foul situation, bonus time each way for Coppin State and Howard. So 1-1 each way for now.
Yeah, what that means to me, I'm glad you pointed that out, is both teams will need to execute extremely well down the stretch. You'll need to make your free throws, secure the ball and take care of it, and get good looks at the basket.
Steers missing the 3. That's not his shot. He's shooting just 9% on the season from behind the arc. Here's Bibbs. He can't hit. Tark board.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. 9%, what the heck. It's not a big deal, Derek. Just get them up. They're shooting 29% as a ball club. It's no pressure to make them. Just get them up. FGAs, 3-point FGAs is what Coppin State looks for.
Get a foul going the other way again. That'll be a 1-and-1. So Coppin State will be able to potentially add to this lead from the line after the foul picked up by Khalil Robinson. That's number 1 on him.
You know, I mentioned that about the threes, but I said it a little tongue-in-cheek, but multiple guys have taken a ton of threes. Obviously, Cardacey Cowell has shot 164 on the season. Zarzuela, who's not playing, he shot 122 on the season, and he's missed a ton of games. Coming into tonight, Tark has shot 100. I mean, it's rare to find a guy, particularly a perimeter guy, who hasn't taken a lot of threes for Coppin State.
Hood good on both. He's into double figures for the second time in the last 3 games for Coppin State.
Yeah, and he's the other example that, I mean, you don't have to be the star of the game, but if you have a big night for you, that's good enough to contribute to this potential win for Coppin State if they can sustain this lead.
And Lance, another foul against Foster from behind the 3-point line.
And that example is what I mean about executing down the stretch. Sometimes execution, Derek, is not only what you do, is what you don't do. And you don't want to foul jump shooters. Make jump shooters make shots. You know, and this guy is just, Foster's just too good to keep sending him to the free throw line here, particularly down the stretch. I mean, those are buckets. You can count those.
Foster trying to hit the 20-point marker tonight. And does so. He'll get one more.
Well, this is a young man who plays with such a poise. His favorite NBA team is the Spurs, and respects how they play, the San Antonio Spurs, and he just has such a poise and calm about him. He's been here multiple years, understands the program. He's mature, grad student level.
Cardacey 3 doesn't hit, ball loose, and Foster tried to track it down. It'll stay with Coppin State.
Well, Coppin State very fortunate there, as Howard is right within striking distance. He just missed the ball.
They reversed the call. They'll give it over to Howard.
Oh, wow.
So on that replay, that ball went over the hand of Foster. He'll launch. Can't hit from three. The offensive rebound. Hawkins will fire and hit. Tie game.
It's like a dam you were holding, and it just broke. And now you've got the crowd involved. Here's the momentum that you're going to have to deal with if you're Coppin State.
Conteh three misses. Howard can grab a lead for the first time tonight.
Switching everything at the top.
Pass inside. Back out. Foster three for the lead. Got it.
Well, when you're executing and you need a bucket desperately, not only do you want to get the shot you want the person you want to take the shot, and that's what Howard did there, getting the shot in Foster's hands.
What an answer by Mike Hood. That quiets the crowd in D.C. just a bit. He ties it back up at 65. Hawkins to the rim. No good. Tark able to hop over him for the loose ball. And now that ball swatted away. It'll stay with Coppin State with 4:33 left.
Yeah, and I hate to just throw out percentages, but Hood, only a 28% three-point shooter, knocks it down. But how about the pass and then finding Foster? Once he gets square, it's all but a basket. But Hood says, I can do anything you can do, just a little bit better.
.433 remaining as both head coaches looking on, hoping their respective teams can head into the winner's circle.
And before that three, it was a 21-2 run.
Cardesi from deep.
You have to assume if you're Howard, everyone can shoot. Because it's true. They may not shoot a high percentage, but everyone has the green light.
And a blocking foul called down low on the drive by Settle against Sita Contech.
Well, Kyle Cardesi, you want to stay attached to him. He talked about his great game in South Carolina State that he had recently. But also, he just has a knack for knocking down big shots.
And they needed to get him going. First points of the night for him. First from Settle is in. By the way, Kyle Foster now up to 24 points on the night with 5 3-pointers. Leading the scoring for Howard. Conteh has been sitting on 21 for a bit here down the stretch for Coppin State. 2 from Settle, 1-point lead for Coppin State. Near steal. Have to be careful and be aware of Elijah Hawkins.
Yeah, you cannot be lackadaisical. They obviously are pressing right now, and he's almost like a defensive back. Hawkins is. You almost have to go away from him. I would not have my offensive player have to deal with Hawkins because he's so good with his hands and his feet.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by LinkedIn. Whatever you're in it for, we're in it together.
Imagine a place where learning pushes you further and strengthens you from mind to toe. The promise of tomorrow begins with your commitment today. Connect with people who open minds and open doors, taking you from here to there. We take pride in our legacy that prepares you for the rest of your life. Coppin State University.
There's a moment. The moment we ask, what if?
What if we could go further, jump higher, or run the whole thing? What if we could be who we're meant to be?
And become who you look up to. This is the moment it all starts.
This is the moment it all starts.
But only if we get the chance to have it.
Foster's been huge here, Lance.
Yes, he has, Derek. And threes are raining from everywhere. This is what this young man does. And if you don't know, now you know, because he is the top three-point shooter in the nation at 49%. And what that means in basketball terms is if he lets it go, you might as well count it. And he's found his groove here in the second half. And Derek, I hate to say it because I don't want to sound like I think I'm a prophet or anything, but I think those fouls contributed to him getting it going. He had the fouls where he was shooting a jump shot. He got to take all the free throws. I think that contributed to him getting it going here in this second half.
Lance, that's a great point, because how many times you watch a game with a great three-point shooter, or a good three-point shooter for that matter, and they don't get it going at all when they start out slow. He got into the flow, and he hits it again. Kyle Foster, 3 more.
You've got to deny him now from catching the ball. That's the best defense, because if he catches it, I mean, he's hot. He's not going to miss at this point. Or you have to at least assume that.
Mike Hood. Again from deep. We've talked about the performance of Foster. Mike Hood is matching him.
Yes, he is. And he shoots below 30% from that mark.
Down the floor with the layup. It's Nenda Tark. And the lead is at 5 for Coppin State.
Well, how about Coppin stepping up? They've got to have one more push in them, though. It's still a ton of time left in this game.
The layup on the other end by Elijah Hawkins is in. And this is turning into a pinball machine finish down the stretch.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's like two prize fighters here going at it. With each punch, a counter punch is coming right back at you. Hood in isolation. Great look.
Steers to the line.
Well, I really thought Steers would finish that. He almost got in a rush. Thought he should have showed the ball with a pump fake. That would have given him a better opportunity to finish.
So Steers has been really one of the straws to stir the drink, at least in that early portion of the game for Coppin State. And he's at the line here to try to add to this one possession lead for the Eagles. Tip off your weekend with our next NBA Friday doubleheader coming off the All-Star break. Jimmy Butler and the Heat lead the Eastern Conference. They'll take on Julius Randle the Knicks at 7:30 Eastern. Then the Clippers square off against LeBron and the Lakers. Our coverage starts with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. So the free throws there by Steers. It's a 76-72 game. We'll have an exciting finish on the way back after this.
Our journey at Continental has taken us down many roads. And when we first started, they weren't even paved. For more than 150 years, we've worked hard to earn your trust. From the trail to the racetrack and beyond. The Continental mark in all its forms stands for confidence. Confidence you trust. Continental Tire.
You gotta do it like real big.
Cheers to new beginnings.
With Brooklyn! Good to be back.
Yes!
We're gonna keep pushing till we get to the top.
I want us to all win.
This is about elevation. We're coming back bigger and stronger than ever. Let's get to it! It's about to get wild, yo.
Mr. Black & Crew New York and Compton Takeover. Catch up on demand.
Noted.
I need you to swear to me. Until the day comes you can walk away. You will do everything you have to do to protect this family.
Promise.
FX's Snowfall premieres Wednesday at 10 on FX. Stream on Hulu.
It's a 4-point game, and Coppin State's up. But the fans at the Burr more worried about doing some karaoke right now. I gotta say, they're playing some fantastic R&B in the building tonight.
Hey, buddy, you are great. I love listening to you, but this is a moment where I wouldn't mind if you were quiet, because those voices are absolutely beautiful, all of them.
Well, they're still singing in the background, and maybe they'll provide the soundtrack to what we're going to see here in the next couple of minutes. 76-72, Coppin State with the lead. It's been about 3-point shooting for Coppin State, Lance.
Yeah, it has, and the song was about love, and Coach Dixon has got to love those stats. I mean, look, Conteh holding Foster, obviously, to the 5 points, and then Hood stepping up, and others. In spite of his stars, Corbett and Zarzuela being out, he's got to be in love with this performance. He just needs a little over 2 more minutes of sustained excellence to come out of here with a win.
Settle battles down low to cut it to a 2-point game at 76-74. He's been certainly active in this game. He's in double figures. He's got 12 now for Howard.
Well, this is designed, obviously, out of the timeout. Great swing of the ball to the right man. He's so long. We talked about, obviously, what he can do from beyond the arc, but his length allows him to also finish around the basket. So he and Foster can be a bit of a 1-2 punch, but right now they've got to get a stop, because we've seen Coppin State has countered back each time Howard has shown any level of a push.
Lance, how about Howard here? Another game where they're in trouble, down by double figures, as they're still moving and grooving in D.C.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a fan base that is distracted or turning the momentum. I do enjoy watching it. This looks like a fun place to be, buddy. I'm sorry, what was your question?
Well, just to go back and talk about their ability to come back. And certainly being in front of the home crowd can certainly help that tonight. But how about them being a strong team finishing up here towards the end of the game?
Well, I saw them do it. I watched the game against Notre Dame where they were down a ton, just like this game. And they can stay in games and even obviously beat you, especially with the six-game win streak, because of their defense and that man there. Foster can obviously make shots, but on the defensive end, they can really disrupt you and turn you over, particularly with Elijah Hawkins. And when he's on the ball, I mean, he is incredibly dangerous when it comes to getting steals.
Ball security, huge, especially with these two teams, considering the respective guards. And this matchup, Tark and Hawkins, two of the best at stealing the basketball in the nation.
Yeah, and that's why I would go away from Hawkins. They're switching everything. He's so dangerous when he's near or around the ball.
Shot clock to 5 for Tark. Down to 2. Tark goes glass and scores. What a move by Nena Tark.
Well, I thought the spin cycle is what helped him, Derek, particularly with the smaller Hawkins on him. He was able to protect the ball and get it up. What a great finish by Tark.
Backdoor feed to Settle, who slams it. And it's back down to a 2-point game again at 78-76 with 1:11 left to go.
Oh, that's action that they run often, where Settle will come out of that corner. You've got to honor him because he can shoot from range, but you've also got to get in his line of cutting. And first you see the nice finish with the lefty, Tark, over the much smaller Elijah. But how about Elijah's pass there? Hawkins, and he threaded that right in the pocket for the finish. Both of these teams, Derek, they're just one-upping one another. It's really a matter of who's going to blink first. It's a chess match, but it's also a game of nerve where you've got to maintain execution, as you mentioned, ball security, making shots, making free throws, and good decisions.
Oh, no question about it. And as you look at the two head coaches, timeouts, not really a major portion of this game down the stretch, potentially one left each way. Hood will bring it down the floor. He's having a career night. 20 points for Hood. He'll step in, throws it up and in. Mike Hood builds the lead to 4.
Wow.
Back down the floor in the block by Steers.
I mean, you talk about a collaborative effort. How about that? First Hood gets the big basket, and then Steers gets arguably the defensive play of the game. Now you've got the ball and a 2-possession game. How about this block? Great timing. And great job avoiding. Look, he avoids hitting the body of Hawkins. I mean, just a quiet hero tonight, and Steers in the job that he's done.
No doubt about it, as Hood short on the first. Coppin State 13 of 18 from the line now. Steers 9 points, 9 rebounds, and a block and an assist. By the way, averaging just a tick under 5 points and 3 rebounds per game. So that kind of underscores what his performance means to this team tonight.
Yeah, and, I mean, we talked about it at the top of the show or top of the game when Corbett wasn't here to play. There are rebounds, points, and otherwise that were available. And the entirety of the roster has stepped up and grabbed them for Coppin State.
Foster, contested three, and will get a loose ball foul. This will be, it looks like, against Reggie James of Coppin State. And Lance, Coppin State's lucky they didn't call a foul there on the Foster three. They've got to be careful.
Yeah, I thought so too. And he tried to sell it a little bit, but that was incredibly dangerous. If it's me, I'm all out face guarding Foster. And I don't want the ball in his hands, particularly beyond the arc. I'm not leaving it up to him. It's a great no call. Great no call.
He's got 27 tonight, and you're right. I mean, you don't want to take the chance at this point of the game with him trying to do something.
No, great players, they beat you. That's why, it's a huge reason why Howard has won 6 games in a row and in position to possibly win their 7th in a row. This will turn into a free throw contest, though, Derek. You make this free throw. It's a 1-possession game now.
That's a big miss.
Put Coppin State on the free throw line. It is a big miss. If you make free throws and you're Coppin State, you've got a chance to come out of here with a victory. This will be arguably their biggest win of the season in conference.
Stay tuned. Coming up next, Alabama State and Bethune-Cookman right after this one is over with. As Mike Hood will go back to the free throw line to add to his big night. No Zarzuela tonight, no Corbett tonight. No problem, at least for right now, for Coppin State. But Hood misses the first free throw. By the way, James for Coppin State has fouled out. Hood's second is good, 1 out of 2. It's a 5-point game now with 22.7 left. Hawkins.
You got to go quick.
Scoop layup, got it to go. 1-possession game again with 15 seconds left. And a timeout will be called here. And now Howard will have an opportunity to set something up.
Well, he's got Cardesi in isolation. Good job by Steers there. 1, being in position, but 2, making sure he didn't foul. You don't want to foul in that situation and give a basket and a potential free throw. If I'm Coppin State, I got to have my best ball handlers in the game. I've got to get the ball inbounds. And if I'm Howard, I'm fouling right away.
Also, if you're Coppin,
I'm sorry. You go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, also, if you're Coppin State, you've got to be on the lookout for Hawkins and Settle as well, the team's two top stealers of the basketball.
Yeah, well, you want to try to make sure, if you can, you go away from Hawkins.
No timeouts left for Howard. In the hood, he almost lost it. Instead, it'll be a foul. They had Settle and Hawkins there on him.
Yeah. The 2 guys, I mean, they've got him bottled up. Very fortunate that was not a charge. Wow. Very fortunate.
Tough break there for Settle and company. So Settle fouls out.
Yeah, you still got to make some free throws. There's a lot of time left in this game.
Now, it looks like that ball is off of Hood, but
actually, if we see that again, I think at the very end, and I don't know if the camera angle would show this, but it could have been off of the heel of Sellers' foot. Nevertheless, you've still got some work to do if you're Coppin State. You've got to make free throws.
And that's the thing. The point of that is, had that foul not been called, it would have perhaps been Howard basketball. But instead,
correct,
it'll be Coppin State heading to the line after Settle fouls out. Hood again.
This is very emblematic of March type basketball. Here we are in February. We're on the porch of March in terms of madness, and we're already starting to see that. These games are so long, and you've got to execute all the way through the finish line. Still plenty of time left, especially if Howard can get a basket here.
Hawkins got to go here. Hits a three. 84-82. 7.2 left to go. Coppin State not out of the woods yet. And Hood gets fouled.
Yeah, you desperately need both of these.
Hood will go to the line for potentially free throw attempts 11 and 12 after the third foul committed by Elijah Hawkins. 81% on the line this season. He's been pretty much on that mark tonight. Gets the first.
Yeah, and if you, here, Derek, if you don't make the second one, if Hood misses this, I'm fouling Howard. Because I don't want to give him a chance to tie the game and send it over to, oh, great, for them, he made it. You just got to make sure you stay out of the way. Don't foul.
Hawkins step back three, no good, and that will do it. Coppin State ends the 6-game winning streak of Howard